Alrighty, so Bungie made a lot of changes to the portal this week, and some of them very good. Don't get me wrong, light progression system's great now. There's a lot of opportunities to go and grind a lot of different activities. That's awesome. But the good changes have really put a focus, like a huge, like blindingly bright spotlight on all of the remaining bad spots of the portal that were not addressed in this update. And I was sitting down to make a video going over everything that's still in the portal that I dislike, and I came to a realization that loot needs to be its own video because there are so many problems I have with the current loot systems in Destiny. And I think there's just too many remnants from old systems, and the simplifications that they made just not great. Like, in just a bunch of stuff that I do not like, and so I want to talk about it. So I want to start off with shared loot pools. Man, do I hate this change. This refers to the fact that there is essentially no difference between the loot of solo ops and fire team ops. And going further, this refers to the fact that within Pinnacle Ops, even though it has its own unique armor set and some unique weapons and stuff like that, why are we getting the same loot for doing part of a dungeon, an exotic mission, coil, onslaught, etc., etc.? There are 4, 5, 6 types of content that are all funneled into Pinnacle Ops. And previously, all of these activities had their own unique loot, right? Dungeons all have unique weapons. Most of them have unique armor as well. Exotic missions have unique things that can drop from them, usually exotics and catalysts from puzzles and stuff. But then, for a long time, they made it so that when a season kind of phased out, you could get certain weapons from that season from the exotic missions. And so Onslaught had its own set of weapons, etc., etc. And so you've gone from having this immense diversity of loots from all these different encounters and activities, and now it's just like, actually, all of these things give you exactly the same thing. And that feels bad. That's why I put equals frowny face. Because it feels bad. It makes me frowny face. That's just one thing I really want to see change. And I do want to say, for a lot of what we're going to talk about in this video, I'm going to throw away a little bit of, let's say, realism when it comes to the size of the Destiny development team, timelines, budgetary constraints, these sorts of things. I'm going to say I recognize that this is a lot of work, and maybe this doesn't fit with the timelines that, you know, they're constantly having to make more and more and more new content with a team that seems to be shrinking every year, right? Like, as far as we can tell, there's somewhere like half the amount of devs that there were just a couple of years ago. And so they're working with a significantly reduced team, and they're still making a lot of content. And I understand it might be unrealistic for to ask some of the things I'm going to ask in this video, but when something like the portal launches in such a bad state where everyone almost unanimously agrees that either there were a bunch of very bad decisions made, or it came out half-baked, or a little bit of both, then bringing it back up to like the baseline, it's just not going to be enough. They need to truly over-deliver in this moment. And I know that's like a huge meme. He said the thing! But it really is going to require some rubber banding and some pendulum swinging all the way to the other side of this, right? If you're going to drag people back and really entice people to come play, you're going to have to do some cool stuff. Shared loot pools ain't cutting it, okay? We need, like, it is, in my opinion, unacceptable that any of the dungeon stuff came back without revamped dungeon loot pools. Just straight up, that's lame. That's just super lame, in my opinion. There needs to be unique reasons to run all of these. Like, give me a reason to run solo ops versus fire team ops. I don't like that they give exactly the same thing or largely the same thing. And it's cool that bonus engrams now give you like bonus lights. So it's like, okay, I can go do this one activity once and this one activity once. But when Reclaim comes out and it gets put into fire team ops, and 90% of the same drops as before it dropped, and then there's like 2 new weapons or 3 new weapons or whatever, or I can just go do anything else and get all of that new stuff as well. Why you run into the same thing? Why am I playing the new activity when I could go do a shorter old activity faster and farm the same loot? I really miss new activity comes out, farm it for new loot. I think that is something that Destiny dearly needs. It has become part of the core identity of Destiny, and the shared loot pool thing, it's just not cutting it. Period. It feels very bad. We also need more unique loot. So this is about unique loot kind of within a type of activity: solo op, fire team op, pinnacle, dungeon, exotic mission, etc., etc. This is about separating activities of the same type. So I want diversity of chase in similar activities. Give me a reason to do the creation solo op over the salt mine solo op, over K1 Revelations, and what does that look like? Now, I'm gonna propose something absolutely ludicrous that will never happen, but I want it to happen. Strike specific loot, but instead of in strikes, every piece of op content, all 40 selectable things, have an item that you can only get from it. Cosmetic. Some are ghost shells. Some are universal ornaments for titans or hunters or warlocks. Some are a transmat effect, like Zol, like Will of Thousands, you know, etc., etc. This is the perfect opportunity to bring back something that the community has been absolutely begging for 7 or 8 years now, since Warmind. I guess, no, there was some in Forsaken. Since Beyond Light, whatever. Unique strike loot, but instead of strikes, hey, we're doing a limited time event. As part of the launch of this event, now every piece of solo op content forever, not just for the event, but it launches with the event, now has a unique cosmetic that you need to farm each one individually for. Same thing with you can do the exotic missions, you can do the dungeon layers, etc., etc. I think this is so important. These two things give us reasons to go into specific content at different cadences in target farm things. The shared loot pool and the fact that every solo op does exactly the same thing as each other, it's just not, it doesn't feel good. It just does not feel good. Pat, what is that? What did I don't remember what I meant by that. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. So I found my cat, and she has a scroll on her. So I'm going to read this. Sorry, kitty. It's our sponsor for this video, Green Man Gaming, and more specifically their new project, Green Man Gaming Bundles, where you can get a ton of different content bundled together for a hugely discounted price while also supporting certain charities. So for instance, currently they have the Destiny 2 expansion bundle for 2025, where some of the proceeds go towards the Bungie Foundation, and you can get yourself an absurd number of things very cheap. So for $35, for instance, the highest tier here, you can get pretty much everything that's still in Destiny 2. Renegades, Edge of Fate, each of which are $40 alone. Then you also get 30th Anniversary, Witch Queen, Forsaken Pack, Lightfall, the Final Shape, Shadowkeep Pack, the Beyond Light Pack, all of this for $35. That is like 95% off the actual price if you go to like Steam. That is absurd. If you're just missing some of the older DLC, there's also lower tiers where you can see it just comes with a select few of the older DLCs. But I'll have this linked down below. This is one of the best deals I've ever seen for Destiny DLC. If you want to get ahead of Renegades or catch up on some of the content that you have missed, make sure to click the link down in the pinned comment below. Thank you to Green Man Gaming for sponsoring this video. So, the next one. There's currently no loot incentive once you pass light level 470. Like at all, right? It's minus 30 constantly at ultimate difficulty. So once you get past 470, you're always locked minus 30 under. And the only things past 470 are conquests. You want to be higher for that. And the only unique loot incentive for conquests, it's like an emblem. It's not even that cool. Sorry, artists. That's not really that cool. So where's the flex? And I wrote this before we got the TWAB today. In the TWAB today, there is an event that was announced called Call to Arms, and there's a sick flex. It's essentially like a Destiny Rising type event where there's going to be a leaderboard event where if you speed run and you get a certain score in certain portal activities, and if you get a high enough percentage, you get this unique amazing helmet, like super crazy fire mohawk. It's so sick. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not really sure how or if light's going to play into that. Like maybe you need to be 450 or above 470 to play the hardest difficulty of that event to get the highest scores. Whatever, I will find that out when it launches. But we need more stuff like that. We need reasons to level up, over level. I love the power delta idea, but it starts to fall apart right there. And you need a reason for people to grind from 450 or 470 all the way up to 550, and a cosmetic flex, more things to challenge yourself with, whether it's a unique raid modifier or whatever. That needs to happen, because right now you have an entire part of the light grinding system that just does not matter. And now that light is not resetting going into renegades, you're gonna have more people than ever hitting this light or above, and they're gonna realize that there's a huge hole here. So this absolutely needs to be addressed. Right now in the game, exotics equal meh. And this has been the truth for so long in Destiny 2. Like, oh my gosh, like since Forsaken. The fact that somewhere in the range of like a quarter of our exotics over the last 5 years have come from clicking your credit card information and clicking an event pass, or not an event pass, like a seasonal battle pass. Oh, that feels so bad. When's the last time you got genuinely excited that you got an exotic drop? Yeah, exactly. I think I've learned a lot from both Destiny Rising. Their exotics feel really good when they drop, and especially Borderlands. Borderlands legendaries feel great, but they have a variant where you have like a 3% chance every time a legendary drops or something, where it can be a shiny variant. And whenever you get the shiny variant of a certain legendary, it unlocks it on every copy of that legendary. So really, if you see someone using this special skin on that legendary, it means they just farmed it out a bunch. It doesn't need to be quite that rare in Destiny. It doesn't need to function exactly the same. But something like that could go a long way to making the drops or the earning process feel exotic or special, which is something that Destiny 2 has not had in forever. So I would love to see this sort of thing really looked at with the tier 5 exotic system that we know that is coming with Shattered Cycle. I don't know what that looks like, but it needs to be excited. Sorry, Shadow's still playing back there with the string. It needs to be excited, or it needs to excite me. Sorry. It needs to excite me, as excited as I am right now, to get duplicates of exotics, to see exotics drop. And this is a really good opportunity to make it so you can get duplicates of exotic weapons, and it matters. And like, you're actually looking forward to that. Help fill out the loot pool, make that a meaningful grind and chase and an excitement, like a moment of excitement when it happens. I really believe this is super important to what made Destiny special and like very popular in the first place. And we've been missing that feeling for 8 years. Please stop with the currencies. This is veering out a little bit of the loot, but so much of what we do right now is just currency nonsense, man. The turning point, not the turning point, the tipping point for me is the unstable cores being phased out. I'm so sick of things like infusion doesn't need to cost anything. The investment cost of infusion is the time that you spent running the activity to get a higher level drop, and then permanently dismantling and getting rid of that item forever to infuse up your old stuff, right? That is the infusion cost. And adding anything on top of that, whether it's unstable cores, upgrade modules, enhancement prisms, ascended shards, glimmer, whatever, it's gonna do one of three things. A, like unstable cores, either it's super oppressive and it's very annoying and it slows down the gameplay loop in a way that makes you want to stop playing. That is not interesting. It exists only as a function of Bungie requiring you to play more to play more. It's very annoying. B, it might just be annoying, like upgrade modules. Not hard to get, not expensive, but God, every time you ran out of them, you had to go back to the tower. Worst feeling ever. Completely destroyed the vibe that you had. Or C, the third option, it's meaningless. 500 glimmer, a couple enhancement cores. Why does this exist? This will literally only impede people that just started playing the game or came back after a very significant amount of time. It does not affect people like us that play the game a sufficient amount. And it just shouldn't exist. It does not need to exist. It is a nuisance. It is annoying. Get rid of it. There's not a world where these currencies need to exist. You know, getting unstable cores What? Who cares? That should not be part of the interesting loot loop. Getting enhancement cores should not, like, we need to stop relying on these like ridiculous currencies and interactions to support the loot, because the loot should be able to speak for itself. And I really believe a lot of these changes will help that process. If you think I forgot anything, let me know down in the comment section below. I will say I really like the direction of a lot of these mini events. I love the idea of holofoil legendary weapons. I wish they used them a little bit more in like the epic raid, for instance, and stuff like that. But I love, like, the call to arms event sounds perfect, and it sounds like it is doing some of this, which is really, really cool, giving us cosmetics to flex and rare cosmetics to really push for and that sort of thing. So this needs to happen. Some variation of these need to happen if the portal is going to be addressed. Expect a video on my full changes I would love to see to the portal coming in the next couple of days. Please go check out today's sponsor in the link in the pinned comment. Thank you, Green Man Gaming, one more time. I cannot stress enough how crazy it is to get all of this for $35. That is literally absurd, and it supports the Bungie Foundation, which is, of course, one of my favorite foundations to help raise money for. Everyone have a fantastic night. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. Love your faces, and I'll see you very soon.